As the TCM Plus Guild left World's End University to return to the Empire, Nuke and Azumi were puzzling over some major concerns. Nuke hadn't found a way to destroy the Holy Nation, and Azumi hadn't found a way to flex on her academic rivals. They needed the crucial ingredient to any innovation: inspiration. And what could be more inspiring than the sight of a skimmer toying with some corpses amid the dunes of the Great Desert? Crazy skimmer. If they were attacking the Nation instead of us, we'd probably win this war right away, Nuke mused. I bet. I mean, those freaks in the old lands managed to tame crabs, so I guess it's possible. I don't want to associate with a skimmer, you know? Yeah, but maybe there's a real way of doing it. Humans used to domesticate all kinds of animals. Are you actually saying we can get the skimmers to take down the Nation? And prove to the world that the monsters can be tamed? Yeah, that would work just fine. Let's do it! They both said, grabbing each other's hands in a moment of spontaneous twee.
Oh, come on, you're not gonna do it right here, right now, are ya? Have some class, fellow flesh mesh,
Rick said. Guys, listen up. We're gonna try and do some science that will kill a load of people for us, just like in the golden age of humanity. Charlie, bring me that skimmer over there. He's coming with us, Nuke said.
But what about Agnew's idea?
El said. Agnew said, drawing attention to a fully rigor-mortised cannibal from Dead Cat standing upright on his shoulders.
Man and machine working together. That'll scare the Okronites all right,
Isaiah said. You wanna put him down, man? I mean machine? Nuke asked. Okay, forget it. Forced to concede, the prince led the crew onwards, now with an unconscious skimmer being playfully dragged along the sand behind them. Nuke and Azumi excitedly discussed ideas for how skimmers could be trained. Or rather, Nuke listened to Azumi's theories, occasionally interjecting with a request to add a saddle. The guild, melting and sore as they traipsed through the desert, had to listen to these lovebirds tweeting away, and it was quite infuriating for most, but some could appreciate the romantic element. Planning to tame wild beasts and unleash them on your enemies is a timeless couple's activity. They cut south to head right for Manksand, meaning the first United Cities town they came to was Brink. There, the cannibal chiefs they'd looted could be handed over for huge cash rewards. The profits were a little slimmer than expected though. Come on, you're not the designated corpse carrier, Nuke insisted to Agnew, but it was getting nowhere. And other similar arguments were made by the skeleton, who had taken to vibrating the corpse standing on his shoulders as he spoke, as if speaking through it like a puppet.
His Canapal wants to keep riding,
Els revealed, and really that was the end of that. So the gang, plus one special Canipal guest, went on down to Manksand Canyon, arriving to much applause from its residents. After doling out a bit of cash, a few were rounded up to help Nuke and Wadston put together a cage. So, you're gonna stuff this brain scrounger in a cage and hope it falls in love with you? Jazz asked. Stuff it in a cage and force feed it brown bread, Nuke clarified. Oh yeah, that'll do it. Is that how you got the princess? Princess? Your girlfriend? Princess? Shit, is she a princess? You're so fucking dumb, I love it. Alright, that'll do, won't it? The cage was completed, and Els helped wrestle the captive inside. Time for Phase 2, which as Nuke previously mentioned, was to see what it thought of Choco Bread, which Manksand now had reserves of deep enough to solve world hunger several times over, if only their credit situation wasn't so unmanageable. The skimmer bit at the crusty brown with increasingly enthusiastic jolts. It polished off a whole irregular shape of it post-haste, and emitted a guttural purring that gave all who heard it goosebumps. That sound! Imminent association, Gustafsson said. So what, should I let it out? Nuke asked. No, all in earshot shouted.
Do it!
Rick heckled from afar. Someone said, do it. Alright, Nuke nodded, and before any could intervene, he swang the cage door open. The skimmer plodded out and looked around aimlessly. Nuke tore off a handful of brown and threw it into the air. The skimmer flailed awkwardly to catch the lump in its mouth, then purred unbearably again. Izumi had rushed over just in time to join the polite applause from the onlookers. "What? You already tamed it?" she said. "Yeah, it's the same thing as the Shek, but like the opposite," Nuke reported. "Brown makes them real chill. He's my friend now, right?" The Skimmer scuttled over to stand next to Nuke and slumped down into the dust beside him. "Don't tell me they know what you're saying." "Dunno. Hey, it's Skimmer Jim, go introduce yourselves to the crabs and play nice." The Skimmer slinked off and indeed met with Prince, Krusty and Scut for a silent sniffing party of some variety. "Nuke, it was supposed to be my thing, working that out," Izumi complained. "Take it, have it. The only reward I need is the sight of a holy nation army shitting themselves when we hit them with Operation Skim to Win. Guess I could try and find out why that stuff works, and come up with a better operation name." For a few days Izumi tried, but both tasks proved impossible. Short of a dissection, the reaction of Skimmer neurophysiology to high-calorie carbs was impossible to deduce, and the operation name's only weakness, its half-rhyme, was shored up beyond retaliation by its punchy gusto. Her detailed literary analysis of this phrase would have to be enough to impress the big shots at World's End for now, as the guild wasn't going to wait around and let her get back to her actually potentially world-saving research. They had skimmers to wrangle. They put a lead on their first convert just in case, and took it for a walk over to Heft. At the city gates, Nuke had a quick word with the guards. "Guys, I know you're used to keeping skimmers out, but I got a special friend coming over, who happens, due to some weird disease that you've never heard of, to look exactly like a huge crawling insect thing. His name is... Skinner."
Skimmer?
No, Skinner, like in the old parables. And he's not a skimmer, he just looks like one, alright? "Whatever you say, my lord." "Yeah, whatever I say. Forget about that. Why am I even trying to make up this crazy excuse? Just let the next skimmer in, alright?"
But it's not really a skimmer, is it?
I can't tell if either or both of us is joking, so let's just do the thing, shall we? Come on, boy. And so Nuke expertly smuggled the beast into the city at midnight. People still ran screaming from it in the streets, but then again that was the whole point of a tame skimmer. Nonetheless, they needed somewhere to keep their new scheme out of sight, so Nuke quickly slapped down a few dozen stacks of drug money to buy a warehouse off a trader up the north end of town. Inside, the guild was set to work making pens and chocolate feeders. Yes, I speak in plurals, for it was time to see if Nuke's scientifically sound single data point could be extrapolated to a trend. "Got space here for like 20 skim things. We'll raise them up and knock the Naish down. Just gotta find some recruits," Nuke explained.
I'll do it.
Els shouted, rushing out at once. "Well, I was gonna say in the morning, but you do you, Charlie." "Will he be alright out there?" Elena asked. "Yeah, skimmers can smell, can't they?" Nuke shrugged. It was 3 in the morning, and Els was prowling the dunes beside the road to show Batai.
Skim friends, you want some free chocolate? Just come into my scary warehouse, skim friends,
he called. One skim friend responded to this advertisement, sticking its head out of its little ambush hole. It stared at Els with complete stillness, breathing with a faint hiss through its long teeth.
Hello. Do you have a moment to talk about the TCM Plus Guild now recruiting in your area? Come and join me and my friends. We've got lots of good books and we're going to save the world. You like it in the desert, don't you? Well, the man who owns this desert, the Lord, has sent his son to solve all the problems in it. Let's go talk about it in our den.
The skimmer, clearly numbed to such cold-calling appeals, hissed loudly and started walking off.
Wait, skim friend. I'll let you have some drink. I've got lots of special drinks. I can prove it. Look, I've got this rag that smells of something funny. Let me put it on your pointy nose a sec. Skim friend!
Els called, but no luck. About an hour later, Isaiah showed up with the 1,000 guardians and a load of ropes. The silver tongue had failed, the invitation to smell a special rag had failed, but a good old-fashioned lasso-wielding posse never fails to make friends. A skimmer was taken back to the burgeoning stable, nursed back to health by the new Eggman Wonder Hand Special Brew Veterinarian Service, or YZVS, and then awoken to a wonderland of brown addiction. Ah, how the beasts must have felt the rage of a desert hunter leave them and be replaced by the luxurious, manky moorism of sweet, sweet choco bread. For the next few days, whenever skimmers attacked caravans on the road, Els and his helpers would bandage up the wounds and bring them back to safety. The skimmers, that is. Their prey would have to take out an account with Wadston if they wanted in on the deal. In this fashion, the stable's stench was rapidly intensified, and its pens filled with chillaxed, long-legged killer grubs waited on tooth and claw by servants from the palace. They would be left in their life of luxury for a while, as skimmers grew larger and stronger the longer they lived. Therefore, a little stay in the Chateau Charlie insectoid resort would bulk them up, ready for when the battle bill was to be paid. Man, that was easier than I thought, Nuke said to himself. To himself because everyone else refused to enter the stable on account of the odour and the constant creepy purring from its residents. Well guys, enjoy your stay. We're going to find a way to get you into the niche under their noses. Then it'll be fun time. The Skim to Win crew rasped their goodbyes, and Nuke swaggered down the steps into the street outside. The guild was all geared up to travel.
What's the plan now, Prince Tashino?
Isaiah asked. I literally just explained it, Nuke said. At least the skimmers were well informed. They were going to take a little walk back over towards World's End, because around the mountain range it sat upon was the rear side of the Holy Nation, where surely it would be much easier to smuggle a swarm of skimmers into somewhere juicy before the Holy Army cottoned on. Plus, Azumi had some insider info that might render her contribution to the plan sufficient to get her name on the cover of the upcoming book, How to Become Friends Without Benefits, a detailed guide with illustrations by Nuke Didn't Fuck a Skimmer, Tashino. Their last raid in the niche must have achieved something, for this time there was no fighting in Bast, and they managed to walk right over the border without trouble. In fact, the only action all the way there was when a huge bone dog tried to eat them near World's End, so for entertainment, the guild had to listen to this insider story from Azumi that was quite pertinent to their mission. When me and Jazz were working up at the uni, we made the mistake of going out to dig some shit up without a man. Holy Patrol saw us, and that was it. We were sent to the fucking camps to be reconditioned or something. It was just slave labour, like back home, but all dressed up like a way to atone for your sins. It was mostly women, few Shekin hivers too. Any men that were brought in got taken off to be soldiers. At least the Empire enslaves you without such prejudices, Elena commented. Yeah, I'll sort it out, Nuke said. Carry on with the story, this is the good bit, he added to Azumi. Yes, the good bit. The bit with ninjas in it. There was a group called the Flotsam Ninjas, rebels against the nation. They raided our work camp, killed guards and got everyone out. They dragged our sorry selves to a little fort and gave us food and cash to go home. One led me and Jazz back to the uni, so I know that base was on the far side of the mountains, was surrounded by trees and hills, pretty hidden. Quite a few of the other girls stayed on with them, so should be a friendly face to get us in the door. And it'll be worth it, trust me. These guys know what they're doing, and they're experts at getting into the nation without being detected. If we're going to smuggle our lovely new pets into the Holy Phoenix's bedchamber, we'll need their help. Now that was a heck of a lead, so round the west side of the mountains the guild went. That region was known as the Hidden Forest. It was a forest, all right, packed with thick but mostly bare trees, the thin umbrella of leaves they did sport being a dull pinkish grey, matching the barren soil below. And it was hidden, all right, as you had to hack through the cannibal natives to get in. Obviously, the guild contained many enthusiasts for both tree watching and cannibal killing, so a good time was had by all. Victory in a short battle allowed them to walk south, parallel to the mountain ridge. There was a ruckus up ahead, and upon investigation it was a gang of cannibal scrawnlets trying to accost some goats. "Show my ass what you can do," Gustafsson said, ordering his entourage into the fray. After a good chuckle, everyone else jumped in as well, and the goats were saved. But who was grazing a herd of goats on this hidden hillside? "There it is!" Izumi shouted. She was pointing down at the other side of the hill, where a scrappy-looking compound was visible, crawling with figures dressed in black. "Ninja Town!" Nuke called, sprinting off to see the sights.
You better be careful, sister,
Rick said to Azumi.
Shouldn't let him go running off like that.
Why, he's a grown man. Just about, she said.
Well, yeah, that's just the thing. All those filthy ninja girls living on the edge. How's he meant to resist?
Shut up, Rick. It's not like that.
Yeah, you're right. It's not like they'd be more his age or something.
Alright, shut up right now, you closeted skeleton fug! Why do you care so much about how old I am?
Now that's a mighty convincing tone of voice in which to argue that it is in fact I who care about how old you are. Carry on, sister. I said nothing at all.
Izumi fumed down the hill after her errant boyfriend, but he had somehow not yet been seduced by the drawn swords that had greeted him in the camp. It's a raid! Everyone is the bloody Uzis! Someone was shouting. Oh, hey Iz, I think they want to kill me, Nuke said. They're just too inexperienced, that's why, Izumi was quick to explain. I'll handle this. I'm here to speak with Mol, she shouted out. There was some hesitation, but it was soon negotiated that if everyone else didn't move a muscle, this Mol would allow a chat. Nuke and Izumi went into a rough scrap iron hall. It was filled with people lying around on beds or writing at desks, mostly women just as Izumi had claimed. This Mol was no exception. She was short, Izumi's height, with the black skin and white hair of a Scorchlander. She was skinny as a board and carried a katana that almost touched the ground from its place at her hip. When she saw Izumi, she notched the blade back into the sheath. It's the sultry scholar, still alive, Mol said with a smile. That was a long time ago, Madam Mol. This is Nuke Tashino, Izumi said, performing a half bow of some kind during that train wreck of a sentence. Tashino? So you really are Uzis, huh? Are you turning on us, Pipe Dream? No, we're here to help. How do you remember all those nicknames? Please don't, okay? Hard to forget. Hey, Royal Boy, you want to know how that stain got on the ceiling? Nuke hummed. No, you don't. Say no. He doesn't. Mol, we're here because the Empire is going to take down the Holy Nation. Try the other one. It's got chains on. You'd like it. For real, we've got a plan and a scientific secret weapon. We're going to put an end to their oppression. Empire putting an end to oppression. I'm enjoying this. It's going to change. We're going to start something here. Aren't we, Nuke? Oh, yeah, Nuke muttered, his eyes still locked on the ceiling stain. There was a lot to see. And why are you here, then? Come to the wrong side of the mountains, Mol said. We're going to need your help, and I want to pay you back. Once you listen to our plan, you'll understand, Izumi claimed. She recounted some of the adventure so far, and made up some interesting fluff about how they absolutely understood how they had managed to tame skimmers, and thus there was no risk of them becoming untamed at any moment. None at all. You should be up at the university, scholar, Mol said. I could be doing all sorts of things, but I'm here to help. We all are. Half the shit in this world is because of the Holy Nation. If my work helps bring them down, then I want to see it for myself, Izumi said. At last, Mol smiled again. You would have made a good ninja too. Sounds like you're serious. And when it comes to fagging over the holy bastards, so are we. Okran might not like it, but who gives a shit about what he thinks then? I think we might be able to come to an agreement, old friend. I'm not that old! Oh, you meant it like... Never mind. Weird. You're still fucking weird, but like in a different way, I guess. And what about your inbred little boyfriend here? Is his neck stuck looking up like that? What? Oh, sorry, I just... Nuke said, tearing his eyes away from the mystery above. Yeah, let's kill the Holy Nation. My dad will give you anything you want. Cash, drugs, lots of drugs actually. We're stocked with the blocks, you know. And, yeah. Such were the treaty terms agreed. Mol's lieutenant, Pierre, was assigned to the guild as an attaché and to provide guidance on the most up-to-date Holy Nation military gossip. It seemed the plan was coming together, which reminded Nuke of his many questions.
Hey, Prince, why you just staring up at the sky like that?
Rick asked outside. There's no way, not even in the classics. Never mind, Nuke said, shaking his head. Anyway, now that they were friends of the Flotsam, the guild could hang out for a bit in the fort and prepare for some adventurous scouting. Ah, how focused they were back then, thinking they would actually discover things about the Holy Nation. A detour of rather epic proportions was about to arise. They would discover a lot, don't get me wrong, but about things far more secret than anything the Holy Nation was hiding.